Hello and welcome back to Finance World. In today's video, we're going to look at how we are going to solve linear equations. Now you might wonder, why do we need linear equations? Well, let's try and relate this to a very simple example. Suppose you meet a child for the very first time and they give you a riddle to solve and he tells you, well, if you double my current age and you add 7, we get to 15. So how old am I? Well, you might think in your head already, that's quite a simple problem. You do 15 take away 7, and then you'll halve it. And you will arrive at the child's age, which will be 4. If by constructing it mathematically, it looks like this. And then in your head, you have mentally rearranged this to arrive to that answer. It's pretty simple, right? So if you look at it, a linear equation of the form ax plus b is equal to c actually has a general solution in the form of x is c minus b divided by a. Okay, so let's suppose you are going for a textbook or you are presented with a pair of simultaneous equations and you're then asked to solve for x and y. This may appear to be a little bit daunting at first sight, especially if it's the first time you look at something, but let us try and relate the problem to a real life situation where you may be presented with such a problem. So let's suppose you meet a different child and his father. So the father tells you, I'm 28 years older than my child. And then you have your first equation where you construct the father's age. In this case, we'll just use y as the variable, is equal to the child's age plus 28. And then the child tells you, in 10 years' time, my father will be twice my age. And then you construct a second equation where you have y is equal to 2 into x plus 10. And if you multiply the brackets, you get y equals 2x plus 20. Now, in order to solve this, let's start by taking the first equation and you take away that from the second equation. So on the left hand side you have y, take away y, you're left with 0, and on the right hand side you do the same again for the maths and you get x minus 8. So when you solve x minus 8 equals 0, you end up with x equals 8. Now you can substitute this back into either equation and you should arrive to y equals to 36. This tells you that the father is 36 years old and the child is only 8 years old. So I hope you've enjoyed relating simultaneous equations to real life, and I hope you can see how they're not too daunting to solve. And further to come, we're going to have a look at quadratic equations. We're also going to have a look at methods in solving quadratic equations, such as factorization and completing the square. What we'll then have a look at is introducing geometry. What geometry does is it allows graphical representation of equations, and sometimes you might want to find relationships between two different variables that are related by an equation. We'll then following that with angles and trigonometry, say. So this is very an important concept in mathematics. And then we will also have a look at calculus, and this is a very applied branch of mathematics, focusing on how to find derivatives of functions. And we'll start to focus on what infinitesimal calculus looks like, which is by deriving tangents to graphs, and we'll see how that will be useful and apply that to more real life situations where applicable. So hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, and if not, peace out and stay tuned.